Hello everyone and welcome to my thoughts on RuneScape 3 video. So I've been wanting to make this video for a while now since I had the update video a few months back. And yeah, I actually tried doing a few takes of this, but I just rambled and it went on way too long. So yeah, but to kind of explain this, a few months back I had an update video where I mentioned how I did start playing RuneScape 3 again, but old school is still my primary game and this channel is still focused on old school. But since this is a RuneScape channel, not just an old school channel, I might occasionally do some RuneScape 3 videos like this one. And I want to make a better video just to explain RuneScape 3 and how it affects me and this channel. So if anyone in the future ever asks, why are you playing RuneScape 3? I can just kind of link them to this video to kind of explain everything, you know, why I started playing RuneScape 3, my thoughts on RuneScape 3, and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, just to reiterate one more time before I move on though, but yeah, I do play RuneScape 3, but it's more of a side thing. I still prefer old school. I like old school more, and that's the focus on this channel. I do plan to do some RuneScape 3 videos. In fact, tomorrow I plan to have a RuneScape 3 video, which is why I kind of want to get this out first. But, I don't know, they will be less frequent, like once in a blue moon, once a month at most, maybe. But I don't know, if I have a good idea for something to do on RuneScape 3 and want to do it, I'll do it. But I still want to focus the channel mainly around old school, and I still prefer old school, so yeah. But now for RuneScape 3. And just to mention, I'm killing some celestial dragons in the background here as I talk, just so you have something to watch. But yeah. So how I got into RuneScape 3 was kind of through a friend of mine, but was actually a few reasons. So I had a friend who tried to play old school, but he just didn't have the time to dedicate to getting his stats back up because, you know, he's a busy person, only plays like once a week or a couple times a week at most. And, you know, he just didn't have the time to grind his stats. So he ended up trying RuneScape 3 and he ended up liking it and just playing that now when he plays. So that kind of sparked my interest a bit more because, you know, I had one of my friends who was trying and liked old school, but he ended up deciding he preferred RuneScape 3 mainly because of his stats. And I also have other friends in RuneScape 3. You know, when I quit RuneScape 2, I had a lot of friends who continued to play and didn't start playing old school. I still have a clan in RuneScape 3 even. And, you know, there's just a lot of people I know who actually play RuneScape 3. So it kind of made me a bit more interested in trying to play it because I had friends to play with. And aside from that, there was also NXT, which is probably a bit frivolous of a thing, I guess, might be the right word, trivial, because, I mean, it is graphics, but, I don't know, at the time, the NXT was doing a beta, and I got a beta invite, and I was like, well, this seems like a good time to try out RuneScape 3, because I mainly want to play NXT, because it ran differently, like how it saved in your system was different than having the Java files all over, but I don't know. And the main reason I actually decided to play RuneScape 3, I was already paying for it. Membership covers both games. So yeah, so that's kind of how I got to trying RuneScape 3, but when I did play it during the beta, I found I liked it a lot more than I was expecting. So I quit RuneScape 2 because they started selling spins, and I was not about those trying to microtransactions back then. Although since then I went to play other games like Guild Wars 2, and my opinions on microtransactions kind of changed a bit. Kind of saw how they can be not always a bad thing, not always just like buying experience, devaluing everything, and how they can be integrated to work well into a game. So, you know, since my views on microtransactions kind of changed, I didn't really have a lot of hate or resentment. I never even really tried Evolution of Combat. I think I did play it when The World Waste came out, because that was after I started playing old school again, had membership at the time, and I just played through the quest just for the sake of the quest. But yeah, so, you know, I kind of was open to RuneScape 3, or didn't have a lot of resentment to it, and just wanted to try it out, and I went in thinking, okay, this is a totally different game, just like playing Guild Wars 2, it's not RuneScape. But what I found is that after I kind of got past all the stuff, like the new visuals, the new interfaces, the new combat, and all that sort of stuff, and just kind of readjusted to it, I found at its core, it still feels very much like RuneScape, the same way old school does. It just looks different, has a bit of a different skin, but, you know, it still plays like RuneScape to me. Which I was a bit surprised, and I don't know, I guess that's part of the reason why I have kind of stuck with it, because it's still something very much like it used to be to me. Just like old school's RuneScape, this is still RuneScape, just looks different. And also because it is a nice change of pace from old school. You know, old school, it's kind of slow and more grindy. I guess RuneScape 3 has a lot more fast-paced stuff in a way, or I don't know, it's a bit more easy and casual. Like you can see now, I'm not using any food killing these dragons. I mean, you can do the same for some things in old school, but in general, a lot of the things are quicker and easier in RuneScape 3, better visuals, and I don't know, it's just a nice change of pace from the more grindy of old school, just to have, you know, high-level stats on RuneScape 3 and just be able to just kill time, have fun sort of stuff. So, yeah. And I think that covers the first few topics, but now I want to kind of go into some of the different areas of the game and give my thoughts on them. So, yeah. But the first is visuals. So, as you can see, I have my interface set up. It took me a while customizing the interface to get it like this to one I enjoyed. I try to keep it, you know, old school, but still taking advantage of the RuneScape 3 things, like with the second tab next to my inventory here. So, I don't know, that was kind of nice. And I am using EOC just because it actually works pretty well. But back on visuals, NXT. I really do like NXT. It's amazing. I can zoom out a lot more, zoom in, but I don't know, it has a really cool draw distance, and I never really thought I'd see RuneScape looking as good as visuals as like Guild Wars 2 or bigger MMOs, and I think NXT really is on par with them. So, yeah, NXT is really awesome. And there is also cosmetic overrides. Now, that's not something I think would work in old school, but in RuneScape 3 it works kind of well. After I kill this dragon, I actually can show some of mine. But I don't know, you can get various cosmetic overrides from quests, events, the microtransaction store sort of thing, Solomon's. And you also can get keepsake keys. I got a few of them from like a promotion thing, and if I just load it out. So now I can load out this outfit, and I still have the stats of all my armadillo gear I was using, but now I have the visuals of dragon in my veteran cape, which looks pretty cool. I don't know, it's kind of cool to have a bit more fashionscape while having effective stats, and it doesn't work in PvP though, but I don't know, it's just kind of cool to be able to do that. And it kind of fits RuneScape 3 anyway. I don't know, visuals aren't a big deal, or I kind of could see past all this stuff and just enjoy the game. But as for combat, you know, it has all the abilities, but for the most part, it's still just as easy as old school. Because I have it on Revolution, which means the first 9 things in that little yellow circle there, they automatically activate for me. So I don't have to click anything. I'm not touching abilities at all, and it just will automatically trigger them in the order I had them set up. So, yeah. So, in that respect, it's still very AFK-able combat, and not that big of a deal. Now, if you really do want to do, like, more advanced stuff and kind of get the most DPS, you can manually activate the abilities, and there are some tricks, like, I forget, I think it's that one Snipe, I'm not sure, I might be getting the wrong one. I'm still not used to all the names. But, yeah, there's one, like, they have delays, and if you activate the abilities manually, you can kind of minimize the delays, kind of like a tick manipulation for skilling in old school. You know, like, if you activate at the right time, you can kind of fish a bit faster to get a bit more experience per hour than if you just let it automatically activate. And it's kind of the same thing with combat in RuneScape 3. So, I don't know, for the most part, I haven't needed to really do much with abilities. Like, I can click my thresholds and ultimates at bosses or such, but aside from that, Revolution kind of does enough, and it's pretty simple. And, I don't know, those few extra clicks really don't change much. It's kind of just like activating special attacks in old school, more or less. Maybe a bit more often. I don't know. But I didn't really mind the combat. I mean, at first it wasn't very good. I went back and looked at how things evolved over time. And yeah, when EOC first came out, it was pretty bad. But over time, they have improved it into a pretty good system now, or at least it's a lot more bearable. Now, there is still Momentum and Legacy, which are both lower damage than Revolution, which is why I just prefer Revolution. So, I really don't even know why they still have Momentum. I don't get that. Like, I can get Legacy for people adjusting, but yeah, I had Legacy at first too, before I went over to Revolution. But, yeah. And as for combat, things are a lot easier. I did see a post saying how with Evolution of Combat, the players' combat evolved, but the monsters didn't. And that's kind of what happened. Like, the God of War dungeon bosses, they're really easy. I can easily solo a whole bunch of them, sort of thing, with an inventory, just because, well, one, I have all these overpowered potions, familiars, and that sort of stuff, but just combat in general makes the players a lot stronger, and I can kill a lot of stuff without food now. But there are also higher level bosses to kind of, you know, still provide challenges, like Telos, the new solo boss. I don't think I can take that guy out even if I had the stronger armor. I probably would need to learn a lot more about how to activate my abilities, how to adrenaline stall maybe, I don't know. There's a lot of things like that I still don't know, and yeah, the combat can get very complex with abilities, thumb breaks, and all that sort of stuff. I have the secondary bar here with some of them that I know, like, I think this one's backwards, isn't it? Yep. I don't know, there's a lot of things like that can be very timing based and strategy based, which is cool for people who are interested in that, but there's still a lot of just AFK simple stuff like this for people who just want to do simple stuff like in old school. And I don't know. I feel like it has a good balance between casual and complex with the combat. And I also do like how the armors are. I really hope this video doesn't turn too long, but yeah, I currently am wearing Armadillo, which is level 70 power armor, while the Karos, the Barrows range armor, would be level 70 tank armor. So power armor pretty much gives you a damage boost but has less protection, while tank armor gives you more armor and sometimes health boost, but no damage. And I kind of like the split there, and I really do like how the armors are balanced, because pretty much at level 70, the power armor is non-degrading, the Barrow's armor still degrades, but then as you get to the higher tiers, it starts to degrade more and costs more, but gives higher bonuses. So it kind of is a nice trade-off between how much it degrades versus what you need to do. Like on Slayer, you don't really want to use Torva or the tier 90 armors because they'd cost too much. Or you probably could get away with like the next gears, but I don't know, it's just kind of cool how they have it balanced like that, so it's not like completely useless to have gear like Bandos anymore. Or you still have a reason to have Bandos and the other God War dungeon armors because they don't degrade, and they're pretty good armors still. And, you know, they can get by for most things, but then for like bosses, you want the next gears and that sort of stuff, so I don't know, it's an interesting little balance they have going on there. Let me just organize my inventory a little bit. But, yeah. And, let's see, skilling, that's just pretty much AFK and quicker. And, I don't know, it's not that everything's faster. Some things are higher level, like, you know, at level 90 you can cut a new tree, that's higher experience than the lower level trees. It's a bit more progression. And then other things are just faster than used to be. And I don't know, there's a lot of things for skilling that can be more AFK and quicker, like the Serene Stones and, Priftinus. That's pretty good mining. A lot better than Living Rock Cavern from what I remember, because you can just really just sit there AFK, ton of mining experience sort of thing. And, I don't know, I feel like it is a good balance though between higher level content and not just making old content easier, lower levels quicker. But I feel it's a lot more because they want to push players to the high level content, because like later this month, actually, this Monday I think, the Arc region's coming out, and it's focused on like level 90 plus content. So for new players, they want them to be able to get to the high levels quicker so they can experience this content and just kind of, you know, have more fun and feel like they're leveling quicker, or actually level quicker, so they can get to the end game while still having end game content to appease the players who already are maxed and such. So I don't know. It's just a bit of a different focus than old school, although both games do focus on endgame content, I suppose. But, you know, RuneScape 3, they just try and make players get to the endgame quicker, and, you know, some of the skills are a bit faster, but at the same time, there are a lot of fun skills to still train, even if they're more AFK, so I don't know. And Divination and Invention, the new skills, or at least new since I last played, I pretty much took a 4-year break. Yeah, Divination's actually pretty cool. It's just a basic gathering skill, really. You know, you just harvest from these little wispy things and throw them into the crater for either more energy or more experience. And I don't know, I kind of like that whole trade-off. And Invention is a bit weird. It's an elite skill, and pretty much you augment items, kind of upgrade them. Like I have my bow here, which I'm currently almost got to level 10, which when it hits level 10, I disassemble it for a whole bunch of experience, but pretty much you can modify items and put different gizmos on to give them different perks, and yeah, it makes stuff better. It's kind of weird to have a system like that so high level, because usually in MMOs and RPGs, you can do that kind of stuff starting in low levels, so it feels a bit out of place because of that, but aside from that, it's kind of fun and works well, I guess. And yeah. So as for quests, I feel like quests are a big reason I like RuneScape 3. It's just kind of cool because I play it for fun, and it's just kind of nice to be able to come on here and be able to play some quests when they come out, and because old school doesn't get a lot of quests especially. And yeah, quests in RuneScape 3 are pretty good for stories. And I don't know, I really have to say I love that about them, especially the voice acted ones. Even if they're a newbie low level quest, they still have really good stories all the time. So that's pretty cool. I kind of dislike, though, that the Grandmasters tend to be a bit easier. Like, they did have the Dwarf Grandmaster, and even the Vampire ones. The Vampire ones were pretty cool, but the Dwarf one, I don't know, I felt like that just felt a bit forced, and I really wasn't into the story. It just felt like they were making a quest to finish the quest line, then a good finale, in my opinion. I don't know, maybe I just was playing through and not getting invested as much as I would have if I played through the previous one recently. But, yeah, I don't know, some of the Grandmasters just aren't that grand anymore, But other ones like the vampire quest line were pretty good, and I really did like the story and its conclusion. So, I don't know. And even like the new Rune Mysteries and the new Prince Ali Rescue and some of those quests were really cool with the voice acting and how they did the story and visuals. And really made me interested to see how those storylines conclude and see if they're going to update any more of the quests. Hey, look, I got my crossbow to level 10. Now I can disassemble it, but not right now because then I won't have a weapon. But, yeah. I don't know, I guess that kind of covers quests, and I don't know, I'm not a huge fan of where they're going the storyline, the gods, and that sort of stuff. I don't know, I guess the thing I don't like is that stuff used to be like Grandmaster quests to get into this kind of lore, but then they just had to make that standard because of the direction they're going, so now all the old quests are the 5th age, and all the new quests are the 6th age, and you have 6th age quests where the gods are like, oh, it's like a beginner quest and you're meeting Sarah Doman, whereas before that would be like very late game, and I don't know, it's just a bit weird. And even to new players, I bet it's a bit confusing. But it's just a story they want to tell, and I don't know, I am interested to see where they're going with some of the stuff with the gods, the elder gods, and all that stuff, now that they're delving more into that. Although I kind of really wish they'd wrap up the Dragon Kid and some of the older storylines first. But, yeah. And aside from that, I have a few other notes I hopefully can get through real quick. PvP. I haven't really tried much of that, but from what I heard, that's not too active in RuneScape 3. RuneScape 3 seems a lot more focused on PVM. Like, even all your skills kind of support PVM. Like, you know, you get your mining up so you can make the ports armors, and, you know, mining smith to make the ports armors. Then you have Herblord to make the extreme potions. You know, a lot of stuff just kind of ties back into better PvP, or not PvP, better PVM. So, I don't know, PvP is not that popular from what I've heard. Minigames, they're pretty dead too. The main reason is there's this minigame spotlight system, but when a minigame spotlight, you get more Thaler. For every minute you spend in the minigame, you get 1, instead of every 5 minutes you get 1. But instead of actually making the minigames active, it just encourages more people to AFK. So, like, if you want to play a serious game of Castle Wars, when it gets spotlighted, there's just going to be more people AFKing. There'll probably be some more playing as well, but you're going to get a lot of people AFKing and not just more people active in playing, which is, oops, I turned on my quick prayers by mistake. Which is kind of the opposite of what a metagame spotlight system should do. Then there's other diversions and dailies, and I don't know, they can get a bit annoying. I think I probably had some alerts here a bit ago for like Big Chinchampa and such. I can mouse here and you can see a whole bunch of them. But, yeah, I don't know, they can get a bit annoying too, because there's a lot of different diversions and dailies, and it got to the point where I had so many dailies, I just was like, okay, I have to stop doing these, they're not worth my time. Like, all this free experience and stuff, but it's just like, there's so much of it, I don't want to take the time to get the free experience, or, you know, easy experience. And I also dislike how some, like Serenity Post and Big Chinchampa are kind of shortcuts around skilling. Like, just doing Serenity Post daily, I got my agility up, and I never had to run agility courses. So stuff like that's a bit cheaty and kind of evades around how the skill's supposed to be trained. Which is a bit sad, but I don't know. There are a lot of dailies, and some of the diversions can be fun, though. They're not all just, do this for free experience every day. Some are actually cool. Like, I really did like fish flingers, and I actually had to do that for the fishing outfit because they had that there. So, yeah. And I think the last things I have to touch on are Treasure Hunter, Solomon's Store, and all the promotions. So, I'm not a huge... Now, Solomon's Store I don't really mind too much, because that's just cosmetics, and that's kind of what I consider the good time to microtransactions. You know, kind of goes with the whole cosmetic override system, too. So, I mean, I don't really like it that much. There's not really any cosmetics I even want to buy. The Nomad outfit's kind of cool, but for the most part, it's not like I really care about that, but I also don't mind existing. I dislike how you have to buy the bank boosters. Like, recently I ran out of bank space and I spent some money, real money, to buy rune coins to get more bank space because I was just always running out. So I don't like that as much. Treasure Hunter, I have got some Treasure Hunter keys a few times just to test them out, and they're not that amazing. I think they're not as bad a skill as Fortune used to be, because I feel like the skills have got so much more overpowered and experience that the Treasure Hunter promotions aren't as bad. They also switched over to bonus experience for a lot of them. And the bonus EXP is actually kind of cool, because instead of just giving you like 20k agility or 20k, let's say, runecrafting experience on my lamp, they'll give you 20k bonus experience, which means as you train runecrafting, you get experience twice as fast until you used up your 20k bonus experience. So I kind of like that, because at least you still have to do the skill and you're not just getting a whole bunch of experience really fast. You just get faster experience when you do the skill. Yeah. Anyway, I do kind of dislike how often to do promotions, especially for Treasure Hunter. Like, it seems every week when I go into Treasure Hunter, there's a new little thing saying promotion in this much time. Just like, can I just see what the rarities were again? Because that's where they show the rarities, and it's always like a countdown to a new promotion coming out or until the promotion ends, and I don't know, that gets a bit annoying. But yeah, I think that's overall kind of my thoughts on RuneScape 3. And I feel like I kind of rambled enough, and this video is still longer than I'd like it to be. I really was hoping I could do it in 15 minutes, but 20 is not bad, I suppose. But yeah, so just as a quick recap, pretty much I just play RuneScape 3 for fun. And I don't know, it's just, I'm not really invested in this game. So if something comes out that devalues stuff, like if they make a new weapon that makes all the other weapons useless sort of thing, that really doesn't bother me. It just means I can get weapons for cheaper, and I don't know, maybe I did lose some money. Like, and if they give like everyone a free milling experience, it's just like, cool, free experience, because I really don't care anymore. I think I kind of got past the point where I really care about RuneScape 3, and I'm just high level, I want to max, and I just want to have fun. So I kind of like playing the game just for that, because, you know, in old school, I'd care if they do something that messes with the game, or devalues things, or ruins things. In RuneScape 3, I just don't. So, I don't know, in that kind of way, I just can play the game, have fun, you know, just kill these guys, train invention, you know, work at skills, work at dailies, play the new content when it comes out, and just enjoy myself and not really have to worry about, you know, stuff as much as I do in old school. So that's just kind of how I've been playing RuneScape 3, and yeah, tomorrow I do plan to have a RuneScape 3 video out, but I don't expect them to be often. So hopefully if you don't like RuneScape 3 videos, you can just ignore them, and if you're interested in seeing what I'm up to in RuneScape 3, well, you can watch them. But, yeah. Anyway, I think I have rambled enough, so, hopefully you all enjoyed my thoughts on RuneScape 3. If you have any questions of other things or want to hear more about my opinions, you can always ask me in the comments, I guess. And, yeah. Anyway, thank you all for watching. Until next time, goodbye.